Well, hello everyone. My name's Jeff Belville. I am a Red Diamond Intronaut, and I'm so excited to bring you into a conversation today about a company that is changing the game in metabolic health in a way that I've never seen. The window of opportunity has opened to us in a way that, honestly, 17 years later, I've never quite seen before in this industry. And so we're so thrilled for you to be here and to really kind of look beyond the veil into what is about to really take place and what has just actually pre-launched as a pre-order for our associates. I'm not sure how anyone can sleep right now with what's happening. But anyway, a little bit about me. I grew up as the son of a naturopathic physician, launched into my own biofeedback practice for 11 years. Really loved working on the root cause instead of just putting a bandage on the symptom. But I was attracted to home business because of the flexibility and freedom that created in our life. Just have never looked back. We're so grateful that someone cared enough about us 7.5 years ago to share this information with us. And I know that if you're seeing this for the first time, uh, whoever invited you, they've got that care and that heart for you as well. I've been blessed to see the evolution of this company make its way into Inc. 500, Inc. 5000, Prosper Magazine now 4 times, and we've seen the effect of raw whole food solutions make its way across the nations as we've opened up into multiple countries, and we're just getting started. I feel like we're at just the very beginning of this thing 7.5 years later. So it's just the ecstaticness of everything that is happening right now as we are about to become really truly the authority in metabolic health in the health space. And we've got a few amazing stories to share with you this evening. And we're so excited to have a special guest on with us as well. And so, just a couple things before we jump in and really start deep diving this with you. I want you to be seeing this information through the lens of timing. We are in a very, very unique era right now where 88% of the population has some level of metabolic dysfunction. And there's an awakening to it. People are starting to realize that it is a problem, that it is a precursor, that it is something that can lead to tremendous issues down the road. And so now, an industry is being born out of metabolic health like we've not seen before. It's always been a conversation to, oh, I wish my metabolism was like when I was 18 again. But at the end of the day, there's been very few tools that can actually accomplish that. And today we're going to be able to provide for you what we are calling a daily health system that really truly goes in and helps to reset that metabolic health marker in a few unique ways. Now, the cool thing about Trenon is we have 25 plus products that have already been ahead of the curve in terms of innovating parts of different, I would say, industries rising, right? 10 years ago, we all remember when kind of the gluten-free revolution was born, and we saw this awareness around gut health. And we came out with a very dynamic solution called Enrich, which is an enzyme pre and probiotic blend. Changed my life day one. But we did this better than other digestive products out there. And so what's interesting is that kind of led the way. We're going to talk about a few of these products in more detail, but opened up a conversation around CBD in 2018 when the Farm Bill passed. We were one of the very first to bring to market a CBD product, let alone a raw whole food, whole flower fluid. So very, very powerful for Trinont to be positioned ahead of that major wave of industry, as that's now become a multi-billion-dollar industry. We also came out with a collagen product that kind of really was first in class, before you could find collagen on the shelves. I mean, I'm a little granola from out here in Oregon, so we always just boiled our bones. But when I discovered the power, I know Terry's laughing at me. When we discovered the power of what Glow could really create, having 4 times more collagen peptides than the competitors, having that 10x biotin content, results started to be visible within a few days of taking these products. And so I really love that a Trinont product means impact. It means a product that's going to change your life in one way, shape, or form, and continue doing so. And so we have a few things that I really love about these products. One is we source all of our own ingredients. We manufacture them in our own facility. We have a warehouse in Utah, and they're made here in the US. I also really appreciate that we bioferment our vitamins with a process out of Canada, and how we take the care to be one of the only like 3% of products on the market today that operate out of a raw and whole food perspective. So, when you try a Trinont product, you can trust a Trinont product. And that transparency promise is something that I just love that we can stand behind. So I appreciate our scientific advisory board being filled with people who are actually experts in their class. And it's just created this amazing scenario where we can create these solutions for families and communities that are suffering with some of the most devastating issues in their health journeys than ever before. We're the sickest generation that's walked the earth. It's not news. You don't have to look far to find people dealing with a lot of health conditions and issues today. It's not like it once was, right? And so as we have a mission to go out and impact 1 billion lives through this, I truly believe that we are at the very, very, very forefront of being able to provide impact solutions that actually create wholeness in whatever journey you might be on. And so that's just a little intro, but I get to bring on a dear friend of mine who has she's got a lot of expertise. We could talk so much about just some of the decades she's been serving others in their health journeys as a nurse in her capacity, and just what she's seen in her industry and been able to take that wealth of knowledge and wisdom that she walks in and be able to partner with a company like Trinont really speaks volumes. She's an industry leader. She's someone that I've had respect for I don't know, Terry, I'm not even sure. It's been a handful of years, let me just tell you that. And it's been so much fun to partner in Trinont in a very unique way. And so I'm excited to have you tonight. We're just going to tag team this. We called each other just a little bit ago, and we're like, you know what? It's so much more fun when we go back and forth and kind of create this dialogue around these products. But I'm just so glad to have you, Terry. Thank you for everything you do to serve the community we're a part of. But I'm just going to kind of toss it to you for a minute to share kind of what a Trinont, like why Trinont products really matter, why they're different, why you love them. We'll just kind of start there.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Oh, I have so much respect for Jeff. He's a wealth of information. He's one of the most supportive leaders I've ever worked with, and his trainings are phenomenal. And what he's done to just help this industry and to help within Trinont itself is he's a leader's leader, and we are so fortunate and so blessed to have you and Kat who are in our leadership. Jeff, I adore you too. And so thank you so much for that. And it has been decades. I hate to admit it. I like to tease that, yeah, I started nursing in vitro, but no, that didn't happen. It has been, I'm going on 41 years since I graduated from nursing school this spring. And that's a lot of years in nursing and a lot of things I've seen over the decades. And what I saw is really what led me to where I'm at now. And, as much as there is a time and place, and we don't say we prevent, treat, cure, or anything, I saw a very broken system. And I became especially concerned about 10 years ago. I got very interested in the obesity crisis on a health perspective. I mean, we're not talking body, image, we're talking health perspective and what that meant. And I was becoming more and more aware, and this is kind of amazing, but true, as a nurse about metabolic health, because it really never got discussed as metabolic health. We talked about all the disease processes, and in medical schools and nursing schools, all that, you're usually always taught about disease processes and symptoms, and then what can be given to help with that symptom. And so that's kind of my upbringing that I came through. And along the way during that time, I had an epiphany when I was triaging in an ER setting. Had a little older couple come in with their little tackle box, fishing tackle box full of medications. And I'm thinking, how can they afford these, number one? And how does anybody know how all of this is interacting in this person's body? Because we all have different chemistry, right? So it was kind of all of this culmination of that. And then last summer, the last 3 years, I've been a mobile IV therapy nurse. So I got do the hydration and the vitamin IVs, and I've moved over towards that more holistic side of wellness, if you will. And last summer, I started being called out on calls with people who were with intractable nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and couldn't get out of bed and been in bed for 5, 6, 7 days and looked like death warmed over when I got there to see them. And I became acutely concerned because when I first went, I thought, oh, these are going to be people who have GI, a bug, a virus, there's something going on. And I got there and I found out, no, they were taking synthetic weight loss medications. And so, and they were so sick. And it became my heart's desire to go on a mission to look. And I was already with Trinant and I loved all our impact products, but I literally was on my knees praying literally last summer. Lord, what am I supposed to do? I feel a passion about this. I feel I've been showing this about these people. There's got to be something that could help them. There's got to be something. And of course, I was sharing this with my dear friend and mentor, Jennifer Dowd, and she was like, Terry, just hang on, because this all happened about the time, unbeknownst to me, in the background, something was going on in Toronto. And she's just like, hang on, just hang on. I can't tell you, but you're going to die. You're just going to die. And sure enough, fast forward to the fall, September, when it was released to associates, and then October, Transform was released to the public. And I cried when it was released, because y'all, the core of chronic illness is metabolic dysfunction. And so our cells, and then just a quick little thing about metabolic dysfunction. So people are like, well, what is that? And they tend to think it's just a disease process. And one particular one comes to mind for everybody. It has to do with blood sugar management, but that's one of the things that can happen. There's a lot of things that can happen. So at the core, or at the very basic of metabolic health, is at the cellular level, energy is not functioning properly. And so when you don't have energy functioning properly in the cell is not going to function properly, and you're going to lead to disease processes and illness. So we at Trinant, I love it because our focus is on metabolic health now. And y'all, this is for everybody, because if we're living and breathing, we all need to know and learn and educate ourselves and find out where we're at, because you don't have to be sick. You can be walking around and not know you have issues, but you might not be sleeping well, or you might be hangry after you eat, or other things. And we're going to talk about a lot of that tonight as we go through the products. But so 88% of Americans are walking around with metabolic dysfunction. Some of them know it, and a lot of them don't. So with that, that's my heart, that's my passion, that's my desire. So I just feel like I've been led here to help educate and help people as much as I can. And I just feel so blessed that it's right here in Trinant. And this is where, because I love this place, I love the people, I love the culture, love the co-founders, I love everything about being here. And so I just feel so blessed that that answer to prayer came right where I had been planted. So that's who I am and where I'm coming from.
I love it. What an amazing way to kind of just how that journey's been for you, and getting to the root, kind of like what we were talking about at the very beginning, and the importance of really what this means for people. I believe that the health industry as a whole, fast forward 5 years from now, will have completely shifted to be focused on this. And as consumers, we're waking up, right? We need to have more of an emphasis on how can plants serve me in this capacity. I'm not, against Western medicine in any way, shape, or form, but I do believe that I think most people, if given the opportunity, would reach for something that's raw and whole food instead of something that might have some side effects. And so I appreciate not only kind of the expertise you bring, but we had that call, Terry, what was it, a few months back, where in fact, I still have some notes on my whiteboard over here from that conversation, because we were like designing the perfect metabolic health bundle. And it's so true. that this is a multi-dimensional issue for people. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's not just what our mind goes to when it comes to sugar regulation. It's so encompassing that I believe when truly the world finds out about the daily health system and a couple of the other products that we have that really kind of come alongside, depending on what
Mhm.
your desired goal is, they're going to realize, oh my gosh, this one is so affordable. Like I just got off of a call with a dear friend from years ago who said, I was looking into the shots, the popular things that people were doing, and I was so excited. And then all of a sudden, I realized insurance wouldn't cover it, and then they told me it would be $1,000 a month, and I'm like, yeah, there is a massive audience here, not just in the weight release category, but when that awareness of metabolic health begins to take root in someone and you go down the rabbit hole, right? You start realizing, wow, if I focus in on resetting this one part of my health, it's going to affect almost everything else. And that's why I'm so excited about this conversation being brought up. And uh, so let's talk Enrich for a minute because I did mention that. I feel like this is one of those products that you just have to talk about if you're going to talk about the metabolism, partially because we're just not good at digesting our food anymore. And a lot of the studies that I've read, the books that I've read, enzyme therapy, for example, being one of them, talks really about how this is a problem that is so widespread that generationally, we've now been consuming less raw fruits and vegetables over the last maybe 4 or 5 generations to the point where our pancreatic reserve of enzymes is so depleted and so low that it's almost impossible to digest the amount of cooked and processed food that we're eating. And so the result is kind of this overwhelm that our body feels. And you know what? We can all kind of we all know when we eat a big meal how we usually feel, right? We feel bloated, we feel tired, we feel that food coma coming on. And I feel like Enrich does such an amazing job at breaking the foods down. And so if you're just seeing this for the first time, many of you have seen this, but I love being able to show this product in action. One of the cool features about this is it's kind of a 2-in-1. You get the pre and probiotics. Okay, so it's a daily maintenance dose of probiotics, which I mean, if you don't know this yet, it's all a journey for us, right? But the microbiome is now, they're considering it as an organ. I think there's how many trillion different, um, bacteria in our gut. And didn't someone say you could literally take it and stretch around the world 2 or 3 times? That's how much one person has in their microbiome. And so being able to have that support is really great. But I love showing this in action because when you can really see a product work, then you have your hands on something amazing. And so we're going to take a snack pack pudding and we're going to just put this little capsule of Enrich into the pudding real quick and without dumping it onto my laptop because we've done that before. But I love this. I was the guy who had digestive issues my whole life. 76% of America has digestive issues today. And that was affecting my life in so many different ways. But probably the biggest was I just had stabbing discomfort in my gut every single day. And I had tried dozens of other enzyme products. I was gaining weight. I was on a restriction diet from breads, milks, cheeses, anything that had dough or pasta, which is basically a depressing diet. But but at the end of the day, I had to just in order to function. And so, end of the day, you kind of just start living your life around those restrictions. And so for me, this one product changed everything. I won't eat without it because now I know that if we're eating dead food, we need to turn that food into living food. And the only way you can do that is by taking a digestive enzyme before you eat, 5 minutes before. So this is going to work in the stomach, unlike other enzymes we're going to talk about here shortly. And this is a very, very important thing to do in terms of taking all the stress off the body and digesting these really yummy foods we always enjoy on a daily basis and being able to break down carbs, fats, sugars, and proteins into things our body can actually do something with. Carbs, right, need to be converted. Proteins need to be converted to amino acids. Fats need to be converted to essential fatty acids. And if you're not doing that, with an enzyme, odds are that's contributing to some kind of dysfunction. So watch what's happened to this pudding, just very quickly liquefied and almost, you can just see if this was last night's, fettuccine Alfredo, that would be really awesome if we could just take that pressure off the body to digest. So what are your thoughts, Terry, on like the importance of Enrich being a part of this kind of metabolic discussion?
Oh gosh, it all goes together. I mean, it starts in the gut. Everything starts in the gut. And so when you are getting the proper absorption of nutrition, yeah, like that, using vanilla pudding instead of chocolate. Yep. Anyway, but when you're absorbing the nutrition that you need, that's going to feed the cells and feed our metabolism the right way. If we're having toxins out in our system, I mean, it all works together. There's not silos in our body of one thing doesn't affect another. It all is affected. So when we can start at the all important gut issues and gut health, and it's just phenomenal. And oftentimes, I mean, many of my customers and my associates I work with, one of the things I do say is you've got to have Enrich. You've got to have your gut health, because anything from I have an integrative medicine doctor, and I just met with her yesterday and she and I were talking about metabolic health, and anything from the years of having antibiotics as a child can still be affecting your microbiome many years later. Even the fact if you were a vaginal versus a C-section has an effect on your microbiome. It's fascinating. So you just can't underestimate the importance. And so, yeah, all you said about Enrich, I just want to say enforce, reinforce, reinforce. It's so important.
So fascinating. It's an amazing study. And so I really appreciate that part of the equation personally, because it just changed my whole life. And if you've had an enriched testimonial, drop it in the chat or in the comment section, because it's fun for guests to go in and be able to sort through those. Moving into kind of what we do for energy, right? I mean, I feel like digesting my food gave me energy because I felt so much less lethargic. Like I would get energy from my food, which apparently is the way it's supposed to work when your digestion is actually functioning. But a lot of people are looking for a little bit more energy. And so Mojo and Zest comes into the equation. I'm telling you, like, this has become a kind of a joke, actually, because people literally freak out if they can't get their hands on this stuff once they've tried it. And I'm telling you, it is so tremendous in supporting sustained energy through the day without the crash or the jitters. L-theanine is going to put you into like focus mode, so your brain actually can just stay on task. Which who else needs help in that department? Like, I'll be the first one to admit that I just function so much better when I have that. PEA also really boosts the mood. So you're just happy. You get this happy buzz. And I'm telling you, like, the world needs a little bit of mojo. It comes in coffee or chocolate as a hot beverage, or Zest would be like our cold side of that lemonade version. Same ingredients, different flavors. Terry, any thoughts on Mojo and Zest? Because I know it is just so amazing to have
It
this.
is amazing. And I mean, I'm not shy to say I'm into that sixth decade out there. And so I find for me, it just helps give me that energy boost without the jitters, which when I'm not doing that mobile IV therapy like I was, but when I was doing it, it was pretty important not to be coming at somebody with an IV needle with my hand shaking, right? Nobody wants to see that. But so no jitters. I used to have a problem if I drank coffee or whatever. I would oftentimes get some arrhythmia, some irregular heartbeats. I don't get that with Mojo at all. And I don't have any problems with sleep after I don't take it late at night. That's just me. I don't. But even before, when I was drinking coffee, if it was like even past 10 o'clock in the morning, I would notice I had sleep problems. So gives you that dopamine, serotonin boost, which makes you happy. And then I just love it. The focus, the energy, all of it. It's amazing. And I bet there's other people who'll drop this in the chat as well. I love the zest hot as a tea, particularly the peach, the roasted peach. It's like a hot peach tea. It is so good. And even here in Texas, where we're a bit warmer, but I can imagine where if you're going to be cold and rainy, you're going to really like to have your hot tea. So yeah, can't say enough. I love the Mojo products, the Zest products.
It's amazing. And coming from someone who's dealt with chronic fatigue for most of my life, it was very difficult to do regular caffeine because it hits the adrenals. And if you do that over and over and over and over again, the way that they buffer this really supports people who might have some of those fatigue issues like I had. So I really appreciated that I can do Mojo for the long term without it using my adrenal glands as a punching bag. So I don't know if anyone's out there who needed to hear that, but like, holy moly, you got to try it. So that would be great. Obviously, there's some bitter orange that helps burn calories
Mhm.
as well in there. That fits into our metabolic equation as well. So I'm getting excited because there's a number of other products we can talk about. Do you want to take us forward with Transform, Terry?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is the one I mentioned in my little intro that I was in tears when this came out. So this lovely product, this formulation right here is breakthrough technology. You're not going to find this out there anywhere else, and in the formulation that we have it now. As time goes on and people get their hands on it, but y'all need to understand about Trinot. We don't just put something in a bottle. There's really thought behind the formulations that go on, which as a nurse, it was part of what I vetted for this company. It was over and above and beyond what you could find anywhere else. And that's true with Transform. So this is our sugar to fiber product. It will take, as you're digesting your carbohydrates, or you're taking something even with simple sugar in it or whatever, as you're digesting that food, it breaks down into glucose and like glucose and fructose. It breaks down into the simple sugars. And so this is going to take 50 to 90% of that glucose that you've digested and chain it together as a fiber and take that through your digestive system, not allowing it to be taken up into the bloodstream, because where we take up our glucose is in the intestines. And that's also why you want to take this a good 45 minutes to an hour before you eat. Now, I like to encourage everybody, this is the nurse in me, and we have found it's working really, really well for a lot of people, is get on a schedule. Get up in the morning and take this. So if you're an early morning riser, you get up and you take it, and 5 hours or so later, you take another one, because you want to schedule it out 3 times during the day. And I like to tell people, even if you're not eating, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to go out in your bloodstream and take sugar, glucose out of your bloodstream. It's just taking whatever you eat, and there's a thermogenic in it that you can still benefit from. So taking it 3 times a day, trying to take it somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour before you eat, gets it down into the intestine where it needs to be to help chain that fiber together. And the really cool part about it is, if we haven't said it enough, is that it's going to help with your gut health, because that fiber is a prebiotic fiber. So it's going to help feed the good bacteria of your microbiome and help make your gut even healthier while you're decreasing the amount of glucose getting out into the bloodstream. And the other cool part about not having 50 to 90% of that glucose getting out into your bloodstream is that you also don't have 50 to 90% of those calories going out. So we often do see some weight loss. It's not specifically by itself. We don't, make a lot of like weight loss claims, but it can help with healthy weight management. And it can help with healthy blood glucose management as well. So I have somebody who, I think she's on here, Tracy. If you're on here, if you want to unmute yourself, love to have you unmute. This is what makes my heart sing. We have someone coming on tonight to talk about a testimonial for what has happened with her mom. And Tracy, if you can just share in a couple minutes. I mean, I know we could talk all night about this. I got this, I opened up Facebook this morning and saw this post. And I got layers of goosebumps, layers and layers of goosebumps as I read what she had written. And I almost get emotional just asking you to come on and talk about it, about what has happened for your mom. Thanks, Tracy. And she's driving, so she's
Yeah,
on her phone in her car.
so, and I did pull over, so I'm kind of in the dark. I tried to put on some light.
It's
Can't see me.
great.
But my mother has struggled with, she was diagnosed with diabetes in her 30s. And in April, she'll be 80 years old. So imagine being a diabetic on heavy meds all these years and you still have blood sugar out of whack. I mean, spiking really, really high. And, it's just been real terrible for her, caused a lot of problems. Well, and Terry introduced me to the products. When she first introduced me, I was like, no, I'm not interested. And so anyway, I finally decided, and when Transform came out, and I was watching and listening to everything you guys were saying, I was like, I really need to try this. And it helped me tremendously. And so did some of the other products. So I wanted to get my mother on it because I thought if it can help her, that would be amazing because she has struggled for so long. And I talked to her doctor about it. Her doctor wasn't really on board. She didn't like it at all. And I told mother just to go ahead and start taking it anyway. And it has stabilized her blood sugar. She's been on it since November, 4 months. It stabilized her blood sugar. She's lost some inches. It has helped her tummy issues. And I mean, she just altogether feels better. You can tell she's feeling better. And she's not taking as much of her insulin anymore as she was. So that's pretty amazing. And she was
That's
only taking Transform. So she just started the Glow. We're going to see how she does on that. Yes. But I mean, it's just amazing. God is good. I give him the glory for it and I'm so thankful for Terry sharing the products. And then I wanted to try them to make sure they were working for me first before I put her on them. And so today the doctor was just so happy with mother and excited for her and just telling her she's doing a great job and to continue on with what she's doing. And she does know that she's on it. That's why she wanted to see her more often because she's not about the holistic side of things. She wants conventional and she wasn't happy about mixing it. She felt one or the other. And so mother takes her insulin when she needs it, but here lately she's not even really needed it much. So that's just amazing.
Yeah. And share, if you don't mind sharing, do you recall what her numbers were, her 3 different numbers you shared on Facebook on her A1C?
Oh, yes. Okay, so she started out forever at 7.5. And then I guess it was December or January. She started the product in November, and then we did blood work in December or January. It was down to 7.2. And today her results were, we did blood work last week. Her results were 6.7. So that's amazing.
Yeah. That isn't, yeah, I love it.
Did it. And all these years she has struggled. So
And what here, and thank you so much, Tracy. It just warms my heart, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing, and for sharing it with her. I just love that. Do you see how that worked, y'all? I just simply shared with Tracy, and then she shared with somebody she loved, and it's just that's what I love about this so much. But thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So what I want to share with everybody on that is, obviously I said it once before, I'm going to say it again. We don't cure, treat, or prevent anything. But what happened there is her mother was able to support her body in natural processes. And in doing so, when you naturally support your body and aren't allowing as much glucose out into your system, it's a natural process then that you're not going to have the following cascade of events, including the insulin release and the things like that. And as you're not having as much glucose out in your system, those A1Cs, that's a number that is red, that gives a long-term picture of what's going on, not just your immediate fasting blood sugar. And so I had her share that just to show you that her mother still has diabetes. We haven't cured anything, but we've supported her body in a way she's not been able to support before. And it's exciting to see that is all part of metabolic health, is supporting your body to do what it's supposed to do so it can function in the way it's supposed to function. So I just love that. This makes me love what I do. I wake up to those kinds of messages or see those kinds of Facebook posts. And then Tracy and I, of course, started texting, and I just was, oh my gosh, every time I read it, I just get goosebumps all over again.
It never gets old. I mean, literally
Yeah.
every day we're hearing new testimonials with each of the different products. I mean, we have a million stories we could share. I mean, and that's the thing is, Tracy, thanks again for really opening up about that. I was a statistic that I didn't know I was. So when I put that glucose monitor on, it opened my eyes. I had no idea that I was part of this very wide population of people who don't yet know that there's that kind of dysfunction going on. And to see it right in front of my face with the app tracking that sugar every 5 minutes, it was unbelievable. So Transform, it's a game changer, you guys. This is not something that's been an option for people until now. And so just to piggyback on what you were saying, I think it's super important to understand that you have your hands on the most innovative solution in glucose converting enzymes that the health industry has ever seen before. Sure, there's great herbs, there's great things that we've known about for a long, long time in the health community that can support sugar management. Of course, best is, not eating as much sugar. That's one thing. The average American consumes 126 grams of sugar every day. That's a quarter pound. 25 grams is all it takes to activate 45 different health issues. And so to have a glucose converting enzyme is a tool in our tool belt. When you combine that with better healthy decisions, it's going to change the game in anyone's health. And so I love that.
And real quick, can I say too, that makes me think of this, is that as you decrease the amount of sugar going on into your bloodstream, you're going to decrease the amount of sugar you want to eat. And it is very much addictive to your brain. Sugar is like narcotics are. And there is a reason why sugar is in 80% of our foods in the grocery store. If you don't know that they don't just label it as sugar, you may be eating a lot of things that have sugar in them under different names. And so as your body has more sugar in it, it wants more. You crave more. But as you have less glucose, less sugar going out into the bloodstream, that's also going to bring down. And one of the things I've had people be saying is, I don't have those sugar cravings that I did have. And we're hearing that in a lot of testimonials. And there's a scientific reason behind all of that. So Transform helps with that as well. I just love it.
It's so phenomenal. And it leads us to Transform sister products. Which I know everyone is like dying to hear more about this, because it literally, we've actually Transform turned us upside down, like in a crazy, amazing way. And we grew 300% overnight with this product, like in the first 30 days, 200% the next month, 100% the next month. I mean, you just think about this. We got in front of the digestive revolution. We got in front of the energy drink revolution. We didn't even talk about collagen, but I'm telling you, it's absolutely insane what we've done. In all of these different tranches. From a business perspective, we're canvassing 49% of what consumers are spending their dollars on. Mm-hmm. That is a company that is positioned better than anyone else in home business. Mark my words. The thing I think is so fascinating about this daily health system that we are in pre-launch for is just in the first 2 hours, we did 1.5 million in sales for the sister product, which I have waited this entire time to shake, because there's this really cool pH thing that happens when you shake this with water. So it's like a dark blue, and then when you shake it, it literally turns into this almost like fuchsia. I don't know. It's phenomenal. But this is called Activate. And Activate tastes amazing, first and foremost. You're going to want to drink more of this than anything else. I could tell you it's blood orange with like almost a tart cherry kind of, I don't know. It's so refreshing. It's like a lot of people are saying you could just take this poolside. What is Activate? Well, it's a GLP-1 It's in the GLP-1 activator category. So what's so cool about this is if you look at the health trends for 2024, the number one health trend of 2024 is semaglutide. Okay. Now, this is in a completely different class of its own because one, it's all plants. And I remember getting approached even just a year or two ago about this breakthrough miracle discovery, and then was presented with 3 pages of side effects. And I'm like, miracles, the way I understand them, don't generally come with 3 pages of side effects. And no judgment, because there's a lot of desire to just fix something that's stuck, and a lot of that conversation is, like even in our own household, after a really terrible car accident, we have felt stuck in certain ways in that weight release category. So to have something that actually works on producing, like helping your body produce GLP-1 naturally. See, in my philosophy, because I'm not mainstream when it comes to the way that I've learned health, it's about encouraging the human body to produce more of its own, right? To bring it into homeostasis or balance and not force it or coerce it with, do no harm is like one of the biggest philosophies, right? And so the reality is how can we do that? Well, there is an amazing combination of ingredients here with lemon verbena. And it's unbelievable what the studies behind some of these different ingredients, specifically blood orange extract. On the 26th, they're going to be able to really dive into exactly why, but there have been clinicals that have been done showing such a tremendous change in waist and hip circumference, BMI, and body weight when it comes to this one particular extract that's in addition to the GLP-1 that this helps to produce in your body. Now, GLP-1 is not synthetic. It's actually a hormone your body produces when you eat a big meal. So what's so cool about that is it's something that is already a pre-existing function of your body. And we're just supporting more of it because it can really support, and again, sugar regulation, but obviously body composition and fat oxidation. And that is an absolute game changer if you can do it in a do no harm capacity, which is what Activate is. And so the excitement around this is there are a couple other components to this product that synergistically work with GLP-1 to absolutely, I got to be careful because I did check with our VP of sales before this. He reminded me of the NDA that I signed, and I'm like, I'm so grateful that we're getting this in bite-sized pieces because it takes a minute to understand some of these concepts and how it works with your body to produce the desired result that we're all seeing. That there were about 100 beta testers that got to experience this. You should have seen the comment section today when we sat down with Tom, Dr. Tom. He's one of our scientists. I mean, it was blowing up. People were like, oh, I'm down 6 inches. I'm down 10 inches in my waistline. Like it's absolutely crazy how it was like, that my post today was like, the biggest concern on this Zoom was like, can you lose too much weight with this? Wow, that this had to take up so much time during our Zoom that was the topic, and it's because when it combines with Transform, those glucose converting enzymes and that thermogenic, that grains of paradise, it's all singing. It's like an orchestral sound, and it's empowering your body to be in more balance in these key indicators that are metabolic health. Tara, do you want to talk about what those key factors are? I think there's about 5 of them that are like significant, that you're going to see change when you start on this daily health system. I just would love for you to share, maybe just.
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, key 5 markers, and there are more, but real easy, quick 5. Number 1 is cheap and easy. Just go get yourself a tape measure and measure around your waist. That one is if men are over 40 inches and women are over 34 inches, and we're talking not down below the belt line, we're talking, out there where it's sticking out. If those numbers are higher like that, that's a great indicator that you do have metabolic dysfunction. And I want to touch on one thing real quick with that is, please understand, we're starting to, with understanding metabolic dysfunction or metabolic health, we're understanding that comes first. And then because of that, then you're having the difficult weight release. I like that, weight release, because of the metabolic dysfunction, not the other way around. So it is not hand in hand. There are people who are overweight who do not have metabolic dysfunction, and there are thin people walking around who do have metabolic dysfunction. So anyway, but a good indicator is if those waistlines are that. Then the other one is blood pressure. If you're not within the normal parameters of systolic and diastolic, the upper and the lower blood pressure, then it's also an indicator, because poor metabolic health actually, it's more than having glucose in your blood and making it hard for your heart to pump. There's actually some other things that are happening in the body chemically that are causing that blood pressure to raise. And so that's an indicator, and that's a pretty easy one to get measured as well. Then there's the triglycerides, your cholesterol, which is your HDL and LDLs, and then obviously the blood sugar levels. And so the best is a fasting blood sugar. There are some other ones. Someday, if anybody's ever interested, they can reach out to me and find me on Facebook. But there's some other labs you can do too, and are really good, that a lot of times doctors don't call for them, but they'll help you know if you have metabolic dysfunction. So those are the big five. And what I want to say real quick about this, about what we talked about on GLP-1, is that you're going to hear people say, well, I take a GLP-1, whatever, shot. We'll just say the shot. It is not a GLP-1 itself. I loved what Jeff just said. And this is where education is so important. That is an agonist. It is going into the body through a synthetic method of creating, helping your body trigger and create GLP-1. Because GLP-1 is your natural gut hormone. It's one that makes you feel full, makes you feel satiated, so you feel full. It's one of the many things it does, many. And they actually create that peptide chain that they're giving, that they're injecting, to be mimic the human peptide chain, but it's not the same. It's not created the same. It doesn't have the same chain exactly. And it's created to last longer in the body. So anytime you put something synthetic into the body, it's got to find a way to break it down, right? Is it made to break down those things? Not entirely. And so that's why I love, and that's why I'm where I'm at as a nurse of 40 years. And again, there's a time and place, especially in acute situations, there is a time and place. But there's also so much we're learning about how we can support our body naturally in the functions it was designed to do, and that we've been given the things we need. We just needed to, get back to them in some cases. Some cases this has been around for thousands of years, but I love that we have new formulations that our company is innovative in doing. So pretty amazing.
Thank you, Terry. I've so loved our collaboration today, and honestly, as you're kind of compiling all this information about why these products are so absolutely phenomenal, I believe everybody needs the Daily Health System, and that is Transform and Activate. These two combined have changed my life just in the last couple of weeks alone. It's been so amazing to have more energy, less brain fog, noticing my body composition changing after just a couple of weeks. Like, it's crazy what is happening. The benefits of how I feel so much stronger. I feel like I want to exercise more. I forget to eat because I'm not hungry. I have no cravings. I'm like, this is weird. I got to set an alarm so that I'm eating, but it's just kind of crazy because the energy is through the roof. A big part of this product is also going to be in support of circulatory. There's going to be an L-arginine component to this product, which makes it unique, right? So some people would say, well, what if I am on that shot? There's no contraindications with any of these products. So it can come alongside what you're currently doing, which I think is amazing. But I also think it's incredible that you've got this blood flow concept. So you're just going to feel like you just want to move more. And so it's just totally creating the synergy in your body to really start doing the right things to get those 5 key indicators, which Dr. Tom said today, that if 3 out of those 5 are an issue, that's how and it's kind of an interesting thing. So we could talk literally, like, I know this about you and me, Terry, like we could talk all day about this, but I do want to mention, because the opportunity is so wild right now to get in front of a system like this. When you systemize 2 high impact products that are going to change the way people look and feel, that are measurable, that are just absolutely game-changing, innovative, never been done before. The sky is the limits, you guys. Like, it doesn't even at this point really matter what it looks like. People are going to want this stuff, and it's whoever has the link that is really going to be able to grow with this. And so right now you can actually get started with us and pre-order this system. And be a part of the very first batch that goes out and ships on the 28th. So, you know, if you heard everything I just said, go do that for yourself. But also understand that as you share this, there's going to be a tremendous amount of benefit for doing that. And I want to just take a minute, because it would just be so silly of me not to talk about what it could look like for you. We all have crazy busy lives that we live. But the reality is 40% of America right now is seeking out revenue and cash flow, which is more than it's ever been. The home business space is exploding right now in Trinont because we have a simple system. We have a simple way for you to share this information. One, we're going to provide a system, tools, absolutely incredible way to share what we kind of just shared in a concise form, but enough to really create the value for what it is that we do. That tool is available to you when you get started with us, which is so cool. So you're going to get your own funnel, which is awesome. You're also going to be able to take part in what we call our live launch process, which helps you kind of not have to know all the information before being able to share this. And we have a very unique formula that really allows people to be attracted magnetically to what you're doing, so that you're going to start seeing customers and associates joining forces with you without you having to know all the stuff, but you earn more as you learn. A couple things I love, with your own website, you're going to be able to get subscription savings for being on the products each month. By choosing our best bundle, which is called the Platinum, you're going to get some coupons to hand out your first month, which is great. 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our products for you, the customers that shop through you. And you're going to get paid up to 30% on the customers that shop through you, as well as a customer rank possibility. As more customers shop through you, the higher your monthly bonus goes. So very quickly, you can start to see money flowing in, right? 10 Transform or Glow is going to pay out $260. It's pretty exciting to look at those numbers. Obviously, we all start somewhere and then we grow on that foundation. So some people run right through these ranks, and some people, you know, go the slow and steady route. Either one is beautiful. Now, along the way, you're going to find a lot of people, again, 40%, who are going to join forces with you as associates. They're going to want to earn money with us. And as you help them get launched in their business, you're going to earn a $50, $100, or $200 bonus. So let's say, for example's purposes, we go out and we help you sponsor those 3 Platinum associates right out the gate. Well, that's going to do a few things. One, it's going to give you a nice $600 check that Friday, because it's paid weekly. But it's also going to help you earn your technically second rank bonus, which is what we call Jade. Doing this in your first 30 days pays out another $900 in this example. So you can see how this starts stacking up to be a pretty good first month for someone. And so I really love the simplicity of this. Get your 3, right? And get some customers, and boom, all of a sudden, you've now also achieved what we call our car bonus or Jeep stipends at just our second rank in the comp plan. So I just have never seen anything like this before. We have thousands of Jeeps driving around that are paid a stipend each month, starting at $350, and then it grows to $500. But you can see a $2,360 first month with hard work, effort, desire, and coachability can really be a reality for a lot of people if they just, you know, really want to plug in and follow our system. Now, obviously, I love $2,360, but where I was at when I started in Trinont is I needed some vision for creating passive income. I wanted to build a life for my family that wasn't me being the workaholic dad. You know, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like time, and I also, by the way, like vacations. So I love the fact that you can achieve both in Trinont. So I love each of these ranks. You can earn a set pay. So it's not fluctuating wildly every month, but based on the amount of subscriptions of product being purchased through your organization is going to create a stability factor I've never seen in network marketing before. So this stability here by, let's say, hitting Ruby and getting paid out $2,000 a month, or getting hitting that Emerald rank by helping, a bunch of people, $9,000 a month. That's pretty huge. To be able to hit some of these amazing things. But I would say between Onyx and Pearl is going to be your like spare time, part-time kind of, it's very doable for you to create that around a super, super busy schedule. Also, the rank bonuses are one time paid out for you, which I think is super cool. When you hit that rank, you get the rank bonus, but you also get the monthly residual check as well, which includes that Jeep stipend. Ruby to Emerald, I would say, would be like our mid-level leadership positions. And then, of course, Diamond and Beyond is like, holy moly, I need to talk to a tax person. And we've got so many people hit that Diamond rank recently. It's insane. And so you can earn 2 or 3 trips a year, depending on, what we're up to. But I love the fact that, we've been able to go to 26 destinations with Tranont and take hundreds and hundreds and probably thousands of people now with us all across the world. And it all is made possible by the system and your drive. Okay. So we're going to provide the social posts. We're going to provide a back office where you can see everything at a glance. We're going to make sure you have access to every resource right at the fingertips in your phone, and a launch process, like I said, which is very, very simple. And we'll get you started with that. So anyway, there's a few different bundles. Obviously, Platinum is going to be the favored one if you're doing this from a business perspective, because if you're like me, I wanted to get my hands on each of the formulas, have a personal experience. So Platinum's phenomenal. End of the day, we're just so excited about what this daily health system is going to actually create. Tremendous, tremendous momentum. And I couldn't be more excited about what this means for you seeing this now before it's even launched. It's like the writing on the wall. It's like knowing about Apple before it launched the iPod. I truly believe that if you've been hoping, wishing, and praying for a vehicle to get you from point A to where you need to be, that you really lean into this, that you can create whatever you're really looking to create here. And I say that from my heart because I don't have a college degree. I didn't go, I was able to just plug into a simple system and grow in an environment and a culture that really raises people up. And that's what Tranont is. So I'm so grateful you got to watch our experience tonight. And I just am grateful for you, Terry. Thank you for being with us. If you are ready to get started with us, reach out to whoever invited you to take a look at this. They'll be able to give you a link so you can kind of identify what bundle you're starting with. And if you want to pre-order that system and have this in your hands in the next week or so, get started tonight, because I'm not sure how long that pre-order window is going to remain open. Just going to put that right there. So thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your evening, everyone. And again, Terry, I just always love going live with you. So thank you, everyone. Bye.